Live here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, here for at DNA HQ, here for the DNA Sports Recap. How's it going, AJ?
I'm doing great, buddy. Another fantastic Wednesday. How are you?
I am just nervous upon nervous. I'm having anxiety about how much anxiety I'm going to have come Friday. But we'll get into that.
You have multiple levels of anxiety.
Oh
Is that
my
what
gosh.
you're telling me?
Yes, yeah.
That's concerning.
Yeah, my anxiety about my anxiety is giving me anxiety as well. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be. We'll get into that later here. We've got a lot to talk about this week, so we'll definitely jump into that. If you're watching us live here on YouTube, if you're watching us on Instagram, we'll try to stay in front of that one too. For some reason, that one's just still showing our loading screen. It's not actually. Oh, no, there we are. We're live there now.
There it is.
We're live there now. JK. We'll try to keep an eye on that one. See if any comments jump in that. But if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to jump into the chat there and let us know where you're watching from and what you're excited about. Please feel free to jump into what we're talking about and engage in the conversation because we'd love to. Love to hear from you.
Yeah, lots of good stuff to talk about. We appreciate all the engagement. We love it when you guys chime in.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So before we jump into the breakdown there and get everything set up for the podcast here. Oh, it is opening week, by the way, for our Utah Jazz. We have it on the other TV over here. So if you see us looking that away from time to time, it's because, well, they're making it interesting. First quarter so far, 17-16.
Hey, at least they're in the ball game, man. You know what I mean? Like this, I'm happy with
not a whole lot of optimism for the Jazz this season.
I'm just happy that they're in the ball game.
The internal optimist, the guy who probably still thinks there's a shot for the Utes to win the Big 12, is saying
there's still a chance. At least we just got to run the table.
Everybody else lose.
Everybody just needs a couple of losses. Okay.
Yeah, and he's just he's over here saying, they're making it interesting when the internal optimist is looking at this and saying, well, at least they're in the game. That's a bad sign for your season.
That's correct.
All right. So, folks, in case you missed it, in case you haven't looked at our channel there, when we first started posting videos on this channel, one of the first questions we always got was, what are you sipping on? So we did post our first video that is about the whiskey that we were drinking on the show, which was Buffalo Trace. We posted that a couple days ago, about 4 or 5 days ago. It's our first official DNA whiskey review video. We'd love for you guys to check it out. Tell us what you think.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
It's a great video. The whiskey was great. Make sure you guys give it a watch. Leave us a comment. Smash that like button. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's just going to be a nice little thing that we can add because we typically get that question asked a lot. So we started making sure the bottle that we're drinking that week is always on the table.
Yep.
So you can see what we're sipping on, which this week is Angel's Envy. Video to be posted about that one shortly. And we're just going to continue to have that little series on the channel. We may move it to its own channel. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But
yeah, absolutely.
Give it a look. Give it a look. See, tell us what you think for sure. All right. So before we do that, before we talk about anything, let's go ahead and cheers. Pre-show cheers. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you guys.
Oh man, this is Angel's Envy, man. One of my best. One of my favorites.
So good.
One of my favorites.
It's so good.
I think it is my favorite bourbon, honestly.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be up there.
Yeah.
All right. So we want to go ahead and jump into the previews for the podcast, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you want to do the Utes?
Yep.
All right. I'll do the intro and we'll start. Does that work?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
The University of Utah takes on Houston. Let's break it down.
For your Utah Hockey Club, the team keeps rolling. Let's go ahead and do a player profile on Connor Ingram.
The Utah Jazz season is about to start. Let's talk about it.
In Major League Baseball, it is World Series time. Let's preview the Dodgers versus the Yankees.
Yeah.
All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ. And this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
How's it going, AJ?
Doing great, buddy. What up, what up, what up? It's Wednesday again.
It's Wednesday again. It's a gorgeous day outside. Look forward to that. It's going to be like 35 next weekend.
Oh, gosh, don't.
The high.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that.
It's trick-or-treating times, man. Come on now. It can't be that cold.
No, I like warm weather, Darren.
I don't understand why it's always nice and warm until the week of Halloween. And then all of a sudden,
then it's jacked. Yeah, for sure.
At night. I don't understand why that is. Why can't we have a warm October 31st. It can be cold before that. I don't really care, you know.
Yeah,
Put on a
cold
sweater,
before,
whatever.
cold after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wear a sweater. It's all good. No
Yeah.
big deal. But come on, man. We got kids that are trick or treating, man. You need to have decent weather for sure.
You do.
Yeah. No one wants to wear a coat over their costumes. That's lame.
No.
Sauce. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We got a lot to cover here. So let's go ahead and first talk about a subject I bet you're dying to talk about, which is our boys up on the hill, the University of Utah football team.
Yeah. I'm ready. I've had a week to process. You know what I mean? I've come to terms, and I'm ready to discuss the abysmal game that happened against TCU.
All right. Well, before we jump into that, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, which is Sunday evening after the loss to TCU, their third consecutive loss. The school made the announcement that Andy Ludwig had resigned from his position as offensive coordinator. Mike Bajakian was announced as the interim OC for the remainder of the season. We had Andy Ludwig's been with the team. I'm sorry, before we get into that, what's your initial reaction there?
I mean, this is kind of something you have to know that something is going to happen. Obviously, with the Utes offensive struggles and sputtering, something had to change at this point. I mean, Kyle Whittingham said it in the post-game interview. You know, we've got to look hard at what ourselves and what we need to change. They have to make a change somewhere. They can't just continue going down this really, really rough path and change nothing and think something's going to get better. Andy Ludwig's done a great job of the program. You've heard it absolutely everywhere. He led Utah to some of its most successful seasons, back-to-back Pac-12 championships. And he obviously, kind of ran this offense when it was just an absolute thing of beauty. Unfortunately, Andy Ludwig struggled to change the offense around a quarterback. And it seemed that like when Cam wasn't in there, he was kind of struggling to shape it to the quarterback, and he wanted the quarterback to kind of shape to the offense.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you there. But let's go ahead and take a minute to talk about Mike Bajakian here. Like I said, he was announced as the interim OC. OC. Like it. He's been an offensive coordinator since 2007. He was with Central Michigan, then Cincinnati, then Tennessee. Then he was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback coach. Then he went to Boston College and most recently Northwestern. So the guys understood this role quite well for, several years now. Obviously, he can make a whole lot of changes mid-season with a bye week coming. We might see some changes there, but we have seen some changes right out of the gate. The offensive scheme has been, we need to see some changes, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
The offense for this team has been laughably predictable over the last 3 games.
Absolutely.
Some changes are needed. You can't just keep running the ball and hope, and then when it's third and long, you just gun it and hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of basically what they've been doing. A lot of 3 and outs, a lot of punting. I believe in the last game that I watched, I think it was in the second quarter, they had 9 possessions and they punted on all 9.
Yes, that is correct.
So it's obviously time to make a change. So hopefully we'll start to see some interim changes. There was some talk in the media availability afterwards that when the press made it available to talk to him, we did have some press availability. It said he wants to play to Isaac's strength, his skill set and his mentality. And I absolutely love to hear that, because that's exactly what you were just talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something to keep in mind here is that you obviously, like you said, mid-season, we're not installing a new offense, right? The offense is what it is. He obviously has Andy Ludwig's playbook. So traditionally, Mike Bajakian he's a shotgun spread attack. He runs a little bit of pistol and under center stuff kind of mixed in to give you different looks. But I think he's going to be, I think he will be playing calls out of the Andy Ludwig play, scheme, but kind of putting his spin on it. So hopefully we do see some different stuff for that is more centered around Isaac and his skill set. I don't know, man. To just wrap it up, I'm just really excited for a new era of Utah offense, right? I hope that he can find some success early with Andy Ludwig's playbook, put his spin on the plays that he has and what he thinks will make Isaac successful in this role. And hopefully he earns the job as full-time offensive coordinator, because that means we had some success. We won some football games.
Absolutely, for sure. Bottom line, the last time Cam was healthy, this team averaged 38 points per game.
Yeah.
if he was healthy, let's say they averaged about 30 points per game. Let's just take a touchdown and an extra point out of a touchdown and a 2-point conversion out of every single one of those, right? Let's say they're averaging 30 points per game. Right now, they'd be undefeated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So without Cam the rest of the season, there's enough talent on this team, with or without Cam, that they should have a better record than they have now. So based off of that alone, solely, I do think I welcome the change, and I look forward to seeing what Mike can do for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over to the loss to TCU. This game was pretty much close the whole game, but really just kind of felt like it was just out of reach in the second half. What do you have for the breakdown of this one?
I actually felt like in the second half, when we finally got that touchdown, like, okay, maybe we found something that we can kind of exploit with this offense, or against the TCU defense, and we've got something here. And it was like we threw the one touchdown pass to Money Parks, and it was a great throw by Isaac.
Yeah, I texted you, I'm like that.
Yeah, I mean, the throw was on the money.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, what a pass.
No pun intended, because it was obviously to Money Parks. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But he threw a perfect ball. Money takes it all the way. And I was like, okay, I think we got something here, right? Like the fact is these guys were straight up selling out to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
You've got one-on-one coverage at every single receiver, and we run one play action pass, and the dude's wide open for a 70-yard touchdown. I was like, hey, Andy, there's something there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. What do we do the next drive? We go right back to run it up the middle, short pass, punt.
Right.
It was like, oh no, this isn't going to do it for us.
That's basically how I felt. Like the very next drive, they got the ball back. I'm like, okay, here we go. We got some momentum. We saw what worked against this defense, and it was the exact same gameplay. I'm like, what are we doing, man?
But like you said, the offense was just ridiculously predictable. I don't know if he thought that maybe the one pass was going to open up the run game. I don't comprehend. But no. I mean, we pretty much effectively made that TCU defense look like they were the University of Georgia Bulldogs. Right. I mean, they just punt after punt after punt. We just needed to move the ball. We needed to get any momentum to keep our defense off the field. The defense, I mean, you can't say anything bad about the Utah defense, man. They gave up one touchdown.
Right.
They gave up 2 field goals. And this is a top 5 passing quarterback in the country right now.
Yeah.
And the dude was on fire. I mean, he threw some great balls. Their offense was just marching the ball up and down the field. The Utes would get him in a position and get a sack and force him into a punt, or, you know what I mean? We block a field goal. I mean, the defense was just on it. We just need some offensive production. This is not a bad football team. This is a very, very talented Utah football team.
I agree.
We just need some offensive production. And I do think that changing the offensive coordinator, this guy hasn't, he's coached at the NFL level, so he's obviously seen some of that. At Northwestern last year, he didn't have anywhere near the offensive talent that he has on this roster right this minute.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested to see what he can do and get us back on track, because we really, really need a win against Houston.
Oh, for sure. So let's go ahead and pivot on over and let's recap that game, shall we? Sorry, not recap. Let's preview University of Utah versus Houston. So Utah is going to be on the road against the Houston Cougars. ESPN has their winning percentage at 68%, with the Utes favored at 3 points for this one. Houston's best win came against TCU, while I'm expecting a win for our boys up on the hill for this one. It's going to be a low-scoring game, I think. I'm predicting a game of a lot of heavy running, lots of use of the tight ends for the Utes. And like I said, I see this being kind of a low-scoring game. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a tough game for me, because we got TCU off of their bye week, and they came in and they were really prepared to play the Utes, right? They watched plenty of tape. They knew exactly what they had in Isaac. There was no question marks going in. They knew they were getting Isaac. You saw early pressure. And a lot of it, I mean, they were sending a ton of guys. They were ready to stop the run. They were going to make Isaac beat them with their arm. We didn't exploit that in any way, shape, or form.
No.
I mean, we had a few passes, but they were very much aware that we were going to try to cram Mekhi Bernard down their throat, and they were up to the task. I mean, now we're getting Houston in the exact same scenario.
Mm-hmm.
They were just on a bye week. They've got all the momentum in the world. The last game they won was at TCU. They were not favored to win that game. And this is not a great scenario for Utah to go into. It's at Houston again. They have momentum, but Houston currently has the 121st ranked offense in the country, which is only producing 303 yards per game. Utah is, as terrible as they've been, has the 71st ranked offense, which is actually gaining 385 yards a game. So if you think that the Utah offense has been bad, just know that Houston is creating 85 yards less per game. So this is not a great offensive team. They absolutely went off against TCU though. They had some huge runs. They had some really good passing plays. So this isn't traditionally a great offensive team, and Utah is a good defensive team, which is a good thing. Utah has dropped down to the 20th ranked defense after obviously a couple of really rough weeks. But
which
Houston,
is tough for the team.
Yeah, but Houston is the 26th ranked defense in the country, which is one of the best statistical defenses we've played all year.
Right. Yeah.
So we're about to get. So you absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
This could be a very low scoring affair with Utah's stagnant offense. Hopefully we can mix some stuff up this year. And then Houston's quote unquote, and I'm only going off of what NCAA has them ranked, bad offense versus a good Utah defense.
Yeah. I think with the only exception to the Arizona game is the Utes have done a great job of keeping this team, their defense, keeping this team in every game they've played. I think the Utes defense has basically carried this team in a lot of cases, and especially earlier in the season, won the game for them in quite a few games, which is pretty much rinse and repeat of last year. But I definitely think that this one's going to be a close one. I don't think the Utes are going to score too much, but I definitely think they're going to outscore Houston. I'm thinking the Utes win this one 14-7.
That is a great. My thing is if the Utah can put together, I mean, this is like literally, it's the same thing I said last week. We need some sustained drives. We've got to keep the defense off the field. Got to keep them fresh. We want our offense to be on the field. We need to control time of possession,
which we did not do last week.
We did not do that last week. They were on the field way more than we were, and you could see it in our defense. They were getting gassed. We were making a ton more rotations. But we just got to continue to feed Money Parks, feed some of these receivers, get them involved in the game. Mekhi Bernard has to go out there and dominate the line. We need the O-line to dominate the line of scrimmage and get Mekhi some yards, eat up some clock, give those guys 30 seconds of rest between plays, and let's go out there and do it. This one's going to be a very boring game to watch, I do believe. I've got the Utes winning 14-10.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I was going either 7-14 or 10-14.
Yeah.
I decided to go 7 because I felt like the Utah defense is basically just going to make a statement because they're playing their best defense they played all year.
Yeah.
So I thought that I'm like, we'll go 7. But I like your score for sure. I definitely think the combined score is going to be under 30. So
yeah. What is the money line on it? Do you have that?
I don't have it this week. I didn't bother looking it up.
I am very curious to see what that is because I bet you it's under 40 for sure.
Oh, the over under line.
Yeah.
It better be.
Yeah.
If it's not, then definitely take that under for sure. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I hope they turn around this week because as much as I love covering this team, I hate covering losses. Like
it's not very fun. It's not very fun, and especially because I've called victories in all 3 of these games.
Yeah.
But again, eternal optimist, right? Like I always think I still to this second believe that Utah has a chance to win the Big 12.
Yeah, I'm not
statistically. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Statistically, they're not eliminated. Mathematically, they're technically not eliminated yet.
Damn right.
Other teams do need to start losing.
We've got some head-to-heads that in games that all mean a big deal, man.
Oh, for sure. You got BYU, we got Iowa State still, and
yep.
There's definitely some games where they can make some noise for sure.
Yeah.
At the very least, play spoiler for sure. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and dive into that. Now. This is going to be something I want to kind of talk about. I talked about it a little bit last week, but I don't think I really kind of got my point across on that yet. So I'm going to kind of just want to readdress it a little bit more this week. So those of you in the chat, bear with me on this one. Again, also let us know what you think in the chat there. Jump in, folks. Let us know what you think about the Utes and how they've been playing lately and, what you're expecting to see out of them this week. But I pretty much grew up in Utah my whole life, right?
Yep.
As far back as I can remember, there was a week every year in school where every class you'd have to pick who was going to win the rivalry game and what the score would be. Whether you're BYU, Utah fan, whether you're a college football fan or not, that happened every single year at school.
It's real life.
Yeah, that's basically how it worked every single year. And so going back as far as I can remember, this game has been something that has been a part of our culture every single year around this time.
Absolutely.
Now, this was in the Lavelle Edwards tenure as head coach with BYU. His career record was 257 wins, 101 losses, and 3 ties. That's a winning percentage of 716. Under his leadership, the team down south have won a national title back in 1984. Coach Edwards was 19-2 against the Utes, and that's 20 years of dominance of the Holy War. Back then, a good year for the Utes were to just get to a bowl game and beat the far superior BYU team that year. That's what made the Utes year.
Yeah.
Since 2002, the Utes have dominated BYU by going 14-4 with a run of 9 straight wins into the 2021 game, which was the last game that they played.
Right.
Going into this season, the Utes were conference favorites, nationally known as the conference favorites going into this one.
Yeah.
With BYU hoping just to become bowl eligible, and Coach Sataki was on the hot seat if they didn't.
Yeah.
Right. We talked previously on a different episode about how it looked like BYU was just simply waving the white flag when it came to football and switching to be more of a basketball powerhouse instead. 8 weeks into the season, BYU is undefeated and is ranked 3rd in the power rankings for the conference. The Utes are now sitting with only 4 wins, 3 losses, and we're looking to hopefully get to 6 wins for bowl eligibility. The Utes just lost their offensive coordinator of the last 6 seasons. They're starting a true freshman quarterback. This could easily be Kyle Whittingham's last season under the big headset. It's possible that this team has a few seasons before Utah becomes relevant on the national stage as they were. Are we looking at a tipping point where we see the balance of power in college football in the state of Utah shift back to BYU?
I think again, eternal Utes optimist here, but the big thing is at this point, we absolutely cannot look past BYU. These guys have just continued to rack up wins. They beat SMU on the road. They had a huge upset against Kansas State where they were not favored to win that game. They beat them at home or at BYU. They went to Baylor, got a huge win in Waco. They took care of business against a really good Arizona team at BYU. And then, I mean, last week they go and they beat Oklahoma State with a very tough game-winning drive in a hard-fought game, and Retzloff marches them down the field and just puts the ball in the end zone with like 11 seconds left. I mean, this team looks tough. Are they returning to dominance? That's yet to be seen. I think it's a little bit too early to say that, right? They've still got a lot of football to play. This team, you can see that they're catching up in recruiting though, right? Mm-hmm. They're not the little brother anymore. Having a couple years in the Big 12 and recruiting, I feel like they've changed their recruiting style. They're not looking as narrowly as they used to. I feel like they're going for really good football players that can join the program and make them better every single day, which takes years to do when you are known as a private institution that may not necessarily do that every single week, right? Jake Retzloff could be the quarterback of the future for BYU. I totally think that he was the number 2 overall JUCO quarterback coming out of junior college. And I mean, the kid's passed for 1,644 yards this year already, and he's well over 60% on his completion rate. He's already thrown 16 touchdowns and he's got 7 interceptions this year. He just threw 2 last week, but the thing is his decision-making is getting better. He's still young and he's still got a huge future that he can make this BYU team continue to win football games.
For sure.
So the future is bright, and it pains me to say it as a Utah fan, but BYU's for real, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this team's not, they beat all the teams that beat us and they're still winning.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. See, that's the kind of funny thing for the Utes there, for the Ute fans that want to remain optimistic. I just noticed that there's a pivot point. If you look at the games, the Utah and BYU have played over the last, going back to like the early 70s, there seems to be a strain of dominance of about 10 years. By the way, neither side has got more than 9 games in a row, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed that. I've looked over every single one of them going back to 1940. No one's won more than 9. That's and then funny. It's always like 1, and then it goes back to the other one, and then the other team will win 2 in a row, and and then he'll switch over to the other team, and then they'll win 9 straight. It's fascinating when you look it up. But for the BYU side, I hate to keep saying this, that I need to see a little bit more for this team, because again, they currently are 8-0, and they're well on their way to, currently they're sitting third in the power rankings, which I don't understand why they're third, by the way. I would put them second if I'm being honest. I think it's Iowa State, BYU, and then Kansas State. I think would probably be.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to put Kansas State above BYU
when they have a loss.
They and a head-to-head loss.
Yeah, so I don't know why, but that's what ESPN had, and I thought it was pretty ridiculous. But
yeah,
this is a team that continues to have these kind of magic wins where they're capitalizing on turnovers, they're capitalizing on pick sixes, and these magical runs on the last play of the game. I haven't yet seen and maybe I'm just being nitpicky here, but I haven't seen a quarter-to-quarter dominant win for this team yet,
right?
At least against a decent opponent, really. So that's when it comes to that. Are the tides shifting? I don't know, possibly, but again, Utah's having a down year because again they pushed all their chips into Cam when they shouldn't have.
Right.
I mean, everybody except for maybe Whittingham didn't notice, but everybody else noticed that this guy's as fragile as glass, and you need to have a better option than the Rose kid and a 18-year-old freshman who was supposed to be going to prom this year instead of signing with the Utes. So, everybody else probably saw that they needed a little bit more depth at quarterback than they actually had. I think this could be the result of that, and then we might see the Utes turn it around pretty quickly next year. But I definitely think it's on the table and worth discussing that we may see another shift, that pendulum slide back the other way.
Right.
We want to hear what you think, folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about your University of Utah, and again, also about the BYU, and what you think about their current dominance of the Big 12 conference. Are they here to stay? Is this a fluke? We want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments down below for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over to let's talk a little bit about the Utah Hockey Club, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we got a little intro here. We're gonna play that. You ready for the light switch?
Always.
All right. Let's go ahead and break down your Utah Hockey Club.
Right on time.
Nailed it. All right.
That was a lot of clicks to get there, man. I'm sorry.
It's all good. You got to make sure you don't knock it over this time,
Yeah, there's a lot of things to fall.
A lot of things to fall for sure. But yeah, so since last week, Utah Hockey Club has 2 losses, a 5-0 loss to the Ducks and a 4-0 loss to the Senators, with another overtime win against the Bruins at home. So another 3 games in, 2 losses, 1 win. Not a whole lot to take off of that on this team. Like I mentioned, we probably want to get to 20 games before we really start to analyze what this team's going to be like this year. But I don't know, man. So far, so good. I still sitting 4th in the division, and
I don't think they've lost at home yet, have they?
No, not a loss at home yet.
That's right.
Didn't they play the Senators at home? That was a home game, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was a loss at home.
Oh, I was thinking they were still undefeated at home.
Yeah, that one was a loss for sure. At least I thought it was. We got a comment here from Alexander McKinnon. #fluke. All right. I like it, Alexander. Appreciate the comment. Thank you there. That was talking back on a previous segment there. We were talking about BYU and their on whether or not this is a dominance or not, but interesting.
Go Utes.
So yeah, absolutely. Love to see it. Appreciate the comment. Thanks, Alex. We gotta check over here on this side and see if we're getting comments, because I don't really know if we're doing it anyway. All right, so back to your Utah Hockey Club here. One thing that kind of fell short for this team on the last game was Connor Ingham, man. He kind of got a little bit lit up there in between the poles, and gave up 4 goals on 9 shots, and which is a little out of characteristic.
And that got him out of there.
Yeah, that got him out of there real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting there. We did mention last week, perfect timing, that we want to do a player profile on a player, and picked the perfect time to do this. But Connor Ingham, short of the quarterback in football, I don't think there's a more important player on a team sport than the goalie for a hockey team. So I think it's a perfect time to do a player profile on one of the bests in between the pipes there, which is Connor Ingham.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and introduce the player profile for Connor Ingham for the Utah Hockey Club.
Let's do it.
Connor Ingham was born March 31st, 1997 in Saskatoon in Saskatchewan, Canada. It's the largest city in Saskatchewan. Fun fact. He was drafted in the third round, 88th overall in the 2016 NHL draft. He was taken by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Connor agreed to a 3-year entry-level contract on April 4th of 2017. He made his professional debut on October 7th with the Syracuse Crunch. In that game, he had 15 saves on 18 shots in an overtime loss to the Rochester Americans. He got his first professional win 3 weeks later on October 21st, where he stopped 23 of 24 shots in a 4-1 win over the Springfield Thunderbirds. On June 14th, the Nashville Predators announced that they had acquired Ingram for a 7th-round pick in the 2021 draft. And then on October 10th, 2022, Ingram was claimed off of waivers by the Arizona Coyotes. During the 2022-2023 season, he recorded his first NHL shutout in a 1-0 win against no other than the Tampa Bay Lightning, the team that drafted him.
No kidding.
He made 47 saves and set the NHL record for saves by a rookie in their first career shutout. Following his first regular season, he established career highs in wins and appearances, and Ingram was re-signed to the Coyotes to a 3-year, $5.85 million extension through June 2020, or extension, on June 25th, 2023. During the 23-24 season, he tied the NHL lead in shutouts with 6 and posted a .907 save percentage. He was awarded the Bill Masterson Trophy in the 23-24 season, which is awarded to the NHL player who exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Connor has been fantastic for the Utah Hockey Club. We look forward to him. He's been super fun to watch the whole time. He's had some rough games, but I definitely think he's, the keeper of the future. He's the guy, and I look forward to watching him.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. He's been doing pretty well most of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, did kind of lay an egg there against the Senators, but other than that, I think he's been pretty dominant.
So many saves, man. And he gives the offense a chance to win every single game. He does need a little bit of help on the defensive side of the ice.
Wasn't that what we traded for? Was a bunch of defensive help?
Yeah, and then they all get hurt.
What happened? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's tell the tape for teams here in Utah.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, we definitely want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below. What do you think of Connor Ingram when it comes to his his ability with the team, man? I mean, do you see him as being as clutch as we consider him to be? We'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments down below for sure. Also, let us know what you think about this team so far and how you think they're performing this year. Do you see them being a fringe playoff team?
Make sure you tune in. If there's any other players you guys want to see a player profile on, we're more than happy to do it. Just leave us a comment down below. We'll get to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, folks, we also did want to mention that we did launch a channel specifically for your Utah Hockey Club called Utah Hockey DNA. This is a channel where all of our hockey content will be posted first. So if you are watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, check the description. A link to this channel will be in the description below. Once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers, we will be giving away one of those brand new Utah Hockey Club jerseys. Those will be limited edition because the team's going to be named by the end of the year. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway.
And make sure you go over to our main channel, DNA Sports Recap. We have these shirts available, logoed. Go check them out. Get you one of those. They're badass shirts.
Absolutely. Tons of good stuff coming into the merch store lately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so be sure to check it out for sure. All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over. Well, we're going to skip Utah. We're going to go to the Major League Baseball, right?
Yep.
All right, let's do that. Okay, got another little thing here for us. All right, let's go ahead and break down Major League Baseball. All right. Nice job, man.
Thank you.
Thank
you. I've been practicing every week.
It's great.
4 to 5 times.
It's great. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right. So before we break down the World Series, and we're definitely going to get into that, folks, we need to first talk about the passing of a legend.
Yeah.
It was announced just a couple of nights ago that Dodgers legend Fernando Valenzuela, El Nino, once called by Vin Scully, did pass away. What do you got on this?
I mean, this is the Dodgers legend, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he sparked Fernando mania.
That's right.
6-time All-Star. The dude was he was just easily one of the most impactful players of his whole generation. I mean, he just really was that guy. Very distinctive pitching style, obviously. The left-hander. I mean, right from his rookie season, he just came out and just absolutely started dominating.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. He's the only Dodger to have his number retired that is currently not in the Hall of Fame. That is one of the requirements to have your name retired for the Dodgers, is be part of the Hall of Fame.
And he does not.
And he did not. And fortunately,
Wow.
he was alive long enough to see his number be retired by the Dodgers, which is a huge honor. He was the opening day starter in his rookie season for this team,
which is insanity.
He started his season 8-0 with five complete game shutouts.
That's a thing of the past, my friend. We don't do those anymore.
Yes, and he ended that season with Rookie of the Year, the Cy Young Award, and also a Silver Slugger. Like you mentioned, that all happened in 1981, his rookie year. Yeah, you're never going to see that again. That's not something that's ever going to happen in baseball.
Yeah.
Did you see Paul Skeens pitch 5 complete game shutouts this year? Probably not.
No.
Yeah, definitely not going to happen.
Also helped the Dodgers win the 1981 World Series.
Yes, and you want to know the ironic thing about that?
What's that?
That was the last time the Dodgers and the Yankees played in the World Series.
Dun, dun, dun.
So when I say this on this channel all the time, is that Major League Baseball, you can't not love Major League Baseball. It's the most poetic sport. I mean, Fernando Valenzuela, 4 days shy of his birthday there, and also just a few days shy of the time that it's his rookie year, he helped win the World Series against the Yankees. It's the first time they're meeting again in the World Series since.
You can't beat that.
You just can't.
It's poetic justice, man.
It absolutely is. I absolutely love it. Definitely for Fernando, for sure. We got a comment from Tammy Price here, friend of the channel. He was amazing. Fernando Mania was pretty fun. Yeah, I don't know how much you know about the Dodgers move to Los Angeles and how that affected the local community in Chavez Ravine.
Not very much.
So when the Dodgers first moved to LA, they basically forcibly relocated all the people that were living in Chavez where they're going to build the stadium. And that's a nice way of saying basically they threw them out and bulldozed over all their homes.
Right. They're like, yeah, well, no, we're done here. We're putting a stadium.
Yeah. So they basically kicked everybody out. And obviously the Latin American community in LA did not take kindly to this. And so the owner of the team at the time went to their scouts and said, hey, I need you to go find me the Mexican Sandy Koufax. And their team went down there and found Fernando Valenzuela. And the rest was history. This is now one of the most beloved teams by that community. And you will just not see a greater fan support from it. And it's all due to Fernando. Fernando was the radio voice for the Spanish broadcast for like the last 30, 40 years.
Forever.
And just Dodger legend through and through. Even a greater human being. Usually when you're a professional sports athlete and you come up and you get to go visit the White House, is because you won a championship, right? Fernando Mania was so crazy. He went and got to visit the White House 2 months into his first career start.
Crazy, dude.
It's amazing. But anyway, love me from some Fernando Valenzuela, and you definitely will be missed. So deeply appreciate it. Thank you. And be sure to tell Vince and Tommy hi for us here in down here on Earth, you guys up there in blue heaven. Appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and pivot on over to talk a little bit more about some additional things here before we get into the World Series breakdown. So we actually have an update on the Rays in the Tropicana.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there was a hurricane that happened. In case you guys missed it, there was a large hurricane that came through. In
case you missed the massive hurricane that just demolished Florida.
Yeah, there was a little bit of damage there where the top was completely ripped off of that stadium, and basically kind of just, oh yeah, that's right. We're doing the whole baseball thing without that, man. There you go. Get the overlay.
I'm really good at this.
There you go. We're back and running. But yeah, so the whole cover got ripped completely off of the stadium there, and basically caused what is being told to be 9 figures worth of damage, which is over $100 million. Correct. If I'm counting my digits correctly.
Yeah,
over $100 million in damage. Now it's come to find out, there's a little bit more to this than we realized. That the team might not have properly insured the stadium.
I did not see this.
So that's going to be a bit of a problem when it comes to
the story that I read said that they had reached out to their insurance.
Okay.
and that they were just waiting to hear back from their insurance on how much was going to be covered on the roof repair.
Yeah, so I heard it. I heard that. I also heard an extension of that story. And basically,
They're like, we missed the hurricane coverage. That shit was expensive.
Well, why they did have it covered, because obviously it's a professional sports team in Florida, and they probably would have never let the stadium be opened. They're saying that the amount of coverage may not cover even close to the full amount of repair.
Yeah, $100 million in repairs is a little pricey.
Yeah, and it's going to be left on the Rays to cover the rest, whatever's left over.
Yeah.
And to your point last week when we talked about this was not this was not designed to be an open air stadium at all.
Right.
There is no drainage on that field. So if the water falls, if it rains and it falls on that field, that water is staying there.
Flooded.
It is flooding the entire building. And it's going to be at least 2 months before they even know the full extent of the damage.
Right. They're still working on it now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's going to continue to rain and dump all over that stadium. And we're going to just continue to.
Because they're going into the winter in Florida.
Yeah. Which is kind of a wet time of year, from what I've heard. It's also just not. This is just really bad all the way around. Like you mentioned before, this stadium was opened in 1990. They said the roof's lifespan was supposed to be 25 years.
Missed it.
Just a little bit.
By a touch.
By just a touch, just a smidge. And they're hoping that they can just kind of get away with it and just get by before they build the new stadium. But you can already see that there's different people. Some people put YouTube videos on this about how the roof was patched up over the last several years, and they just did not do a great job at it. Where you can still see daylight.
Like, everything's fine. Everything's fine. You're at Tropicana Stadium. Everything's okay.
It's all good. All 15 people that are showing up to those games.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, just interesting. More to come on that. We'll keep you updated on that. The biggest story about that is still, where are they going to play? What is the what's the more likely destination? We talked about it last week, how it's pretty pathetic. We're going to have two Major League Baseball teams playing in a AAA facility next year, which both of these ownerships should be ashamed of themselves for putting their teams and their fan bases in this position.
Yes, they should be.
You couldn't consider a hurricane. Like, that's not something you should be considered. But this team is well beyond.
It doesn't change the fact. But did you see Rob Manfred did come out and say that he wants them to stay near their fan base? There is an MLB spring training site roughly 85 miles away in Port Charlotte.
Right.
And that's kind of like the favorite so far for it. But he made it very clear to say that the Rays will be playing next year, and they will find somewhere for them to play. And he does want it to stay in the state of Florida to keep them close to their fan base. So
I agree. I think probably the next best shot would be Buffalo. They actually had a stadium they retrofitted for the Blue Jays during COVID. So I think that would be the next best option. Obviously, sorry, Utah fans, doesn't look like we're going to get the Rays, at least not yet. Air quotes there for sure, because there's still a chance that one of these two teams. I'm still not 100% sure that the A's are going to end up in Vegas. I still think there's a good chance. There's just much options that they're not going to end up there, that they will. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the Rays there. But speaking of teams that could possibly relocate, did you hear about the White Sox?
I did.
So yeah, the White Sox are potentially going to be up for sale. This is crazy.
Is it though? They just had the worst season in MLB history, Darren.
Yes.
That's crazy. They're like, yeah, you've done horrible with this franchise. The fact is if you're Jerry Reinsdorf, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bought this team for $20 million in 1981. Okay. So here we are, 44 years later. Right? Is that quick math? That's 44. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really struggling. 43. Anyways,
close enough.
By the time it sells, it's 24. Just don't quick math me, okay? Experts are saying this team could be worth $2 billion.
Oh yeah, that's insane.
He paid $20 million for it.
Yeah, half of the worst season in baseball history.
Still a $2 billion franchise.
Still worth $2 billion. Absolutely, and it's incredible. It's insane, And I honestly, it's a good idea. Sell the team. Get it into ownership hands that aren't just going to simply tank it like that. They're basically pushing all their chips in the middle because they wanted to get that new stadium and they want the city to pay for it. And I just think cities are done doing this, man.
But if you're a White Sox fan, screw a new stadium. I want new players. I want new management. I want new ownership. I want to win some freaking baseball games.
Yeah, they're not too far away from being considered the team to come out of the AL.
No, some of those pitchers on that roster are fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched him straight up dice up my A's and or my Braves, not A's. Sorry, I pictured the Atlanta A.
Poor
Yeah.
Braves fan just got control. Just got control of the
but
A's.
I mean, I've watched him dice up my Braves team. Okay. And I was like, this is the worst team in baseball. Why is this happening?
That's crazy.
But I mean, if they're relocating, as a Utah fan, it's like, oh, ears perk, right?
Yeah.
We have Ryan Smith, who will buy any franchise. It doesn't matter how much it is.
It's not Ryan Smith. It's trying to get a baseball team now.
But if the fact is, if the Millers need a little bit of help, I'm sure Ryan's going to jump in.
Oh, well, I don't think the Smith group needs any help.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah, the Smith group
probably, or no, the Miller group.
Yeah, sorry, the Miller group doesn't need any help.
You know,
Absolutely not.
They're probably just fine.
Yeah, they've already committed, just like the SCG did, committed billions to renovating the power district.
But
so
it does
buying a team for $2 billion. It's big league. Utah's ready.
Yeah,
they're ready to do that. I don't think there's any concern there. And honestly, I think Ryan Smith needs to focus on the team that we're currently watching on our screen right now, because that's just
we're only down 13. This is still a ball game. Okay,
there's eternal optimist over there.
Still plenty of game to play.
Eternal optimist over there. I absolutely love it. That's great, man. That's great. But yeah, so when it comes to that, man, I don't know, man. I think it's incredible that team is going to be up for sale. And yeah, this is probably going to be the best time for, if Big League Utah wants to capitalize on something and get a team here before the expansion.
Could you imagine MLB without the White Sox, though?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
it's not like you're using the club. It's not like you're losing the Cubs. You know.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I just never liked the idea of two Major League Baseball teams in Chicago. Yeah,
in the same city.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it happens all over the place. You know, you got two teams in LA. Not really. You got two
teams in New York.
Two teams in New York. One's in Queens. You know, one's in Bronx. One's in the Bronx.
It's a big city.
Yeah, but I just don't think the Chicago. You can tell me one time when there was a Subway Series in Chicago where the White Sox played the Cubs. That just never happens. That neither team has been good at the same time. That franchise has been poorly run for the last 10 years,
23 years,
23,
43. Ever since Jerry Reinsdorf owned them.
I don't know. Frank Thomas was a pretty good player. He won an MVP.
And yeah, but I mean, he gets lucky. I mean, a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes.
I guess that's true. But honestly, I think when it comes to next to expansion, I think this is going to be the best chance for Utah to win a team, was just to basically buy out the White Sox. I just don't really care too much about the White Sox. And I guess apparently the rest of the American League and Major League Baseball doesn't seem to care either, because they let this happen. They let this team get to where it was.
So I did read that Nashville is a key contender if they do relocate.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah,
especially because where that team is and its location to Nashville.
Just came from Nashville. Lovely town. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it down there. It's great. But I would say yes, it's more likely that they're going to move to Nashville than they would to Salt Lake. But obviously, again, shovel-ready facility, ownership ready to go, $900 million in city money, ready to signed, dotted line, in state law, ready to go to the team. I don't know. If you're Major League Baseball, which way are you going?
I'm picking the place that can have a facility in 2 years
and has a place two ballparks to put that team within 20 miles.
Yep.
So I don't know. It may make sense to put it in Memphis, sure, but it makes a heck of a lot better sense to put it in Salt Lake City if you're looking from a business perspective. That's just my take.
Yep.
We'd love to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think as far as everything we talked about so far when it comes to the Rays and the White Sox. I'm done about talking about the bottom of baseball. I don't know about you, but let us know in the comments down below what you think.
Let's talk about the top.
Let's talk about the top. Let us know in the comments down below what you think. Please give us your idea of where you think the White Sox end up. What do you think happens to the Rays? We'd love to hear from you. Let us know. And absolutely, let's go ahead and pivot to, oh my gosh, the thing that's causing me anxiety on top of anxiety.
Multi-levels
of anxiety. Let's talk about the Major League Baseball World Series preview. Los Angeles Dodgers versus the New York Yankees. What do you got?
I think this is a fantastic matchup. Not for you, but for casual baseball fans.
Not for you.
All over the world. You wanted to see the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series this year. That's all there is to it.
Kind of guess what your prediction is going to be already. All right. Well, I had to say, okay, well, awesome. Well, do you have anything else on this?
Yeah. I mean, my question is obviously that you look at matchups all over the field, right? You can go all the way down to first baseman versus first baseman, but is the biggest matchup and most determining factor in this whole series going to be the pitching?
Yes.
100%. 100%. The Dodgers projected starters for this game is what? Flaherty, Yamamoto, Bueller, and a whole staff. I've never even heard of that dude.
Walker Bueller?
No, whole staff.
Don't even know who that is.
That
the
was
Dodgers pitching staff?
Yeah.
Don't know who that is.
Okay.
Not a starter. A
Okay.
whole staff means the whole staff bullpen game.
Oh.
Just
no.
an idea. Don't know who whole staff is. Pretty sure I looked over the roster. He wasn't on the 40-man.
Okay. Missed that one. The Yankees have Cole, Rodon, Schmidt, and Gill.
Mm-hmm. Not including Stroman. Yeah. Who hasn't done well. I don't even know if he's playing right now. He might be hurt, but yeah, starting pitching. Yeah. Okay. So we'll definitely get into that. I definitely want to get into some predictions, and I definitely want to do some comparisons. I think you're going spot on right there, but I do want to take a second to talk about what is going to be the thumbnail of this video. This is going to be the most watched World Series in baseball history.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You have the top two brands in Major League Baseball. Sidebar, two of the top brands in all of professional sports history going head to head in this World Series. Two of the top 5 known brands in professional sports are going head to head in this one.
Oh yeah.
It's the 2 biggest markets in the country, in New York and LA. So there's that. And then you also have the 2 most likely MVPs going head to head in this one, when you got Judge and Ohtani going against each other. And then, oh yeah, by the way, this is Shohei Ohtani on the biggest stage in his first year with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
And if there's a country that watches baseball more than this one, it's going to be Japan. And the Dodgers have the 2 best Japanese players to make the trip to Major League Baseball from Japan in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is definitely going to be the biggest World Series that we've ever seen in professional baseball, ever.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah, I mean, just purely based on fan bases alone, this thing is going to be just. This is a game. I mean, even as a casual baseball fan, obviously I'm a Braves fan, but like, this is one you tune into.
Oh, for sure. It's the first time. This is the most common postseason appearance for 2 teams ever. There's more playoff games against the Yankees and the Dodgers than any other comparison of any other team in professional sports history. And the funny thing about that is it can only happen in the World Series.
Right.
But these teams have have been together so many times, it's just insane. The Yankees have, I believe, 27 World Series championships.
It's a lot.
The Dodgers are 30% of those wins came from off of the Dodgers. These teams have faced each other 13 times in the postseason. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Tammy, friend of the channel, let me know on the channel on that one if I got that one wrong. But yeah, they've gotten head to head quite a bit. But like we talked about earlier in the episode, they haven't been together. They haven't faced each other since 1981 was the last time these 2 went head to head. So that whole narrative of, these teams just bought their teams and made it to the World Series by buying championships, blah, blah, blah. The 2 highest paid players in 2 of the highest paid payroll teams in baseball, the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers have not met up since I was not even born yet.
Right.
Which was 1981. So that tells you that, I'm tired of that narrative, man. We put out a video on the channel. We'll link it down below about what's really bad for baseball, and that's bad ownership. We just talked about the White Sox. We talked about the Rays and how these teams are bad for baseball. Let's not knock on the teams that are actually investing in their teams, investing in their fan bases, investing in their players. This should be celebrated, man. This would be awesome. But let's go ahead and break it down, man. I love it where you're starting. So you're starting pitching. You're definitely saying that the Yankees have the upper hand there when it comes to starting pitching.
I mean, I think so. I mean, the question for the Yankees is Cole going to throw 3 games? Yeah, I mean, like realistically, he could throw games 1, 4, and 7 and still be, I mean, unshortened rest, but could throw 3 games in this series. And the Dodgers pitching in a few other series. I mean, you had Yamamoto and Bueller who threw 2 games each, and each one of them had 1 great game and 1 game that was like, are they out of there yet?
Yeah. That's true. That's definitely a good point. Garrett Cole through the playoffs has pitched in 3 games, gave up 7 runs on 19 hits, 2 doubles, 1 home run, 6 walks, 12 Ks, and has an OBA on, I believe it's not an ERA. What is that? I need an ERA on this dude, not an OBA. Expected batting average. Is that what expected? What does OBA mean? let's see here. OBA means opponent's batting average. Okay, so an opponent's batting average of what was that? 295. So yeah, not great, but definitely better than what the Dodgers had available for sure. So Carlos Rodon has been in 3 games, 58 at bats he's faced, gave up 7 runs on 15 hits. The opponent's batting average against him is 259. And then Schmidt has pitched in 2 games, 36 innings, gave up 4 runs, 9 hits. And yeah, basically the only one who's given up more than 1 home run is Carlos Rodon. Expected batting average against that team against him is 250. So none of those are really screaming at you that those are bad pitchers. You know, that all seems pretty legit there. If you go to the Dodgers here and we look at their postseason pitching stats there when it comes to their starters, you got Jack Flaherty, who he's been pitched in 3 games. Innings pitched is 15. He gave up 15 hits, 12 earned runs, and an ERA of 7.4, which is not great. You got Yamamoto, who is appeared in 3 games. He's pitched 12 innings, given up 11 hits, 7 earned runs, an ERA of 5. And Walker Buehler, 2 appearances. He's given up. He has an ERA of 6. So yeah, when it comes to that, you know what? I have to agree with you. I do think the Yankees do have the upper hand when it comes to starting pitching. But honestly, if you were to ask me, I'm more optimistic about the Dodgers starting rotation now than I was when the postseason started. Because while, yes, we've had to use a bullpen game quite often, but we've got enough out of these starters where they just went out and ate it and got a bunch of, just kept on giving up a bunch of hits and stuff like that, giving up runs. They saved the bullpen, which I think was the most important thing that they could do to give the Dodgers another chance to win a bullpen game. So I would agree with you, though. I definitely think that the Yankees do have the upper hand when it comes to the starting rotation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go ahead and pivot on over to the lineup, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously the Yankees at the top of their lineup, I mean, their big 3 is going to be Stanton, Judge, and Soto, right?
Yep.
That's their big 3-headed monster. Those are the ones that are going to scare everybody when it comes to that team.
Just walk all 3 of them every game.
Yeah.
Every rotation.
That's going to work out for sure.
Just walk them.
Yeah. And so I think that you got that big 3 of those 3 guys. All of them except for Judge has performed. Stanton and Soto are playing very well in the postseason. Judge, not so much. Take it over to the Dodgers.
Had some big moments, though.
Yeah, he's had some key hits.
Yeah.
He did have that home run against Cleveland for sure.
When they needed him.
Yeah, when they needed
it.
They
needed him bad.
It was a timely hit for sure. But when you look at it, the Dodgers, flip it over to the Dodgers side, you have their top 3, which is Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. Now, again, Shohei and Mookie Betts are both having a great postseason, but Freddie Freeman's injured.
Right.
So I think the big 3 on both teams are kind of eliminated. Judge really hasn't performed well in the postseason overall, and Freddie Freeman's kind of injured. So I think you take the big 3 on both, and you get rid of those 2. They cancel each other out, right? Yeah. So I think when it comes to the lineup, what's going to happen is the rest of the lineup, 6 through 9. And not scratch that. 5 through 9 is going to make what makes the difference in this one on the lineup there.
Yeah.
The Yankees have Gleyber Torres. I believe they also have Austin Wells, Alex Verdugo, Anthony Volpe, Anthony Rizzo, and Jose Trevino, and some other options there when it comes to their postseason roster there. I have to say there, while there are a few in there, I definitely think Gleyber Torres is performing well. And Alex Verdugo has had some timely hits. Austin Wells is, not great in the postseason right now. His batting average is well below his, I think, .091, but he's doing well when he's doing well in the regular season. I'd have to say I would favor the Dodgers in this one, because the Dodgers, after their top 3
the remaining lineups,
on the remaining of their lineup, the Dodgers have Tom. Let's start with Kike, the postseason domination machine that he is. Is continuing to have a very hot offseason. I sent you a screenshot where they talked about postseason and basically comparing the stats to Judge versus Kike, and Kike is neck and neck with Judge, which is awesome to have on your team. We also have Tommy Edman, who has, scored. Oh, he had like 4 RBI in the Dodgers win in Game 6.
You got Max Muncy. If you're getting blown out, guarantee it's 2 or 3 bombs.
Max Muncy is going to hit a bomb. Actually, it's really not unfortunate. It's unfortunate for Max Muncy because he didn't really get the full credit he deserves. He set a Dodger record and it reached base consecutively on 14 plate appearances.
It's pretty impressive.
That is,
however,
a National League record, by the way.
However, all of his big hits always seem to happen when the game's well out of control.
He just needs to be on base when Tommy Tanks comes up.
Yeah, but Max Muncy put 3 home runs in the last 2 series with like in absolute blowouts.
True. He hasn't had a great there, but outside of Juan Soto and Carlos Stanton, nobody on the Yankees have hit more than 2 home runs either. So
there's a guy.
So, but the Dodgers have, again, they have Max Muncy, they have Kike Hernandez, they have Tommy Tanks, Tommy Edmonds. They also have at the bottom of the order Chris Taylor. I'm not really this excited about Chris Taylor, to be honest with you. That's one I don't think is actually going to see any time in this postseason, if you ask me. But you got Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Gavin Lux, and Kevin Kiermaier is going to be a defensive replacement off the bench. Oh, and let's not forget Teoscar Hernandez, who is a home run derby champion who hit 36 bombs this year. He has yet to wake up this playoff. I think if you take after the cleanup hitter to the 9 hitter, I think the Dodgers have a better offensive lineup than the Yankees do.
I think so.
The Judge, Stanton, and
yeah,
Soto scare
we've
the
decided
crap
those
out
are
of
a
me.
wash. Yeah,
those guys scare the crap out of me whenever they're coming up. But yeah, between them and the other big 3, I think those 2 wash.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to who has the best.
Who's
bullpen.
got the best role players?
No, the best bullpen.
Oh, bullpen. But I'm saying, like, offensively, who's got the best role players?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's not one of these big, the big 3 that wash. Who's got the better role playing roster that can come in and get a hit when you need it and be on base for when Shohei gets up, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, in that case, yeah, definitely favor. I say favor there goes Dodgers.
Yeah,
I think that would be.
Not to mention, home field advantage is a real thing,
and
the Dodgers have it this season.
Yeah, that's true. They do have home field advantage. They ended up with the best record in baseball, which is also kind of interesting. Do you know this is like only the second time since 2000 that both of the best record teams meet in the World Series? It's only happened 3 times since the year 2000.
Really?
Yeah. So it's another shot in the hole. Others buying their championships. The top, like baseball has so much parity. The 2 best teams in the league at the end of every regular season, they've only met in the World Series 3 times now, which is nuts. So again, I think the rest of the lineup, the role players, I do give Dodgers a little bit of a heads up on that one. Slight edge there. Not a lot, but slight edge. So far we have the starting rotation for the Yankees. They have a big favor there. That's their edge. Starting pitcher is much better. They have 4 guys. The Dodgers barely have 3. You switch it over to the lineup. I think the 2 big 3 on each side cancel each other out. But the rest of the role players, like you mentioned, I do think the Dodgers have the slight edge there over the Yankees for that one. So now what it all comes down to is the last piece, which is going to be the bullpen. Who's got a better bullpen?
Yeah.
So like you mentioned, unless you have Garrett Cole starting 3 games this season, and going deep in at least 2 of those, I think the Dodgers have the back end arms and have a lot more weapons than what the Yankees do when it comes to the bullpen. The Dodgers have, Blake Trinan, whose ERA is 0.08 in the postseason,
which is crazy.
Yeah, you've got also when it comes to the Dodgers, you also have what's his name? Oh gosh, it's slipping my mind. Who's the pitcher that's slipping my mind? Oh gosh,
not your guy on this one.
Huh?
I said I'm not your guy on this one.
Michael Kopech, thank you. Michael Kopech, he's just been absolute nails. You also have Ben Conspiracy and, Alex Vesia is going to be available for this one. So is Brusdar Graterol. So 2 more of our best arms from last season are going to be here. You also have Brett Honeywell, who could just eat innings. Ellen Phillips, Fireman Phillips, who's been a closer for the last 3 or 4 years. I definitely think the Dodgers have a much better advantage when it comes to the bullpen than what the Yankees do. They do have some good back of the end pieces, but you see them, they're going to have to use them in every game. And once you see a reliever more than 2 or 3 times, their plus stuff gets diminished. I think the Dodgers could get to them. So when it comes to the bullpen, I'm taking the Dodgers on that one. So 2 for the Dodgers, 1 for the Yankees. I don't know. What do you think? If you're going to call the World Series, what are you going to call?
No, I mean, I'm with it. I mean, I'm a little biased because I've seen a lot more Dodgers baseball than I have Yankees this year.
Yeah, me too.
I watched, yeah. So I feel like the Dodgers have, I feel like they have a more complete team. I mean, again, when you look into like the role players, I do feel like their role players have stepped up a lot more than some of the Yankees players have. The Yankees have relied a lot on their star power to get them to this point. But I mean, yeah, I mean, pitching's a huge deal. Oh no, man, that is going to be such a good series.
Yeah,
I'm going to say Dodgers in 7.
Dodgers in 7. Wow, I like it. The Dodgers are favored to win this one. They're at a minus 130, and the Yankees are a plus 120. That's about as close in a World Series that you can get as calling a pick'em game.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers do have home field advantage. I like what you're saying there. I like your pick there. Out of the fact that I have a rooting interest, I'm not gonna give one.
Yeah, we know who his pick is.
Just because that's you want to curse your team. Nothing worse than doing that. So
especially putting it on the internet for people to watch.
Exactly. So while I'm looking forward to this series, it's going to be awesome. Game 1, keep in mind, folks, whoever wins Game 1 of the World Series has gone on to win that 63%. Win that series 63% of the time. So that's definitely something to be on the lookout for.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about this World Series. Are you with us on this? Do you realize that do you think this is going to be the most watched, the greatest World Series that we've seen in recent years? Not just necessarily baseball, but as far as fandom and the amount of people watching, do you think it's going to be the most watched World Series ever? We'd love to hear from you.
Yep, sure do.
All right. With that said, let's go ahead and pivot on over to a little bit of our Utah Jazz, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah, they're in it.
They're in it.
Still a ball game.
It's still a ball game. All right, let's cover your Utah Jazz. All right, well, it is opening night for the Utah Jazz, my friend.
It sure is.
We got the game going on the other screen right now. It is in the middle of the third quarter right now, and the Jazz are right in the thick of it, man, against the Memphis team. It's looking pretty damn good right now.
Yeah, I'll take this. I can watch Utah Jazz when they're, as long as they're playing some competitive basketball, man. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to see them play hard, and I want to see development for sure. Before we get into that, folks, we do want to quickly mention that we did create our own channel for your Utah Jazz called Utah Jazz DNA. This is where we'll be posting all of our Jazz content first. So if you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, check the description of the video. A link to that channel will be in the description. Be sure you click that link and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell because we'll be giving away one of those sweet new Road Mountain black jerseys. Did I say that right?
Something like that. Once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers. So if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button on both that channel and our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, so you don't miss out on that giveaway. Do it.
All right. So again, season's upon us, man. We got the Utah Jazz. They're here, and season's starting. And I can't say that I am not really that excited at all for this start of this season. I don't know what it is.
I can tell you exactly what it is.
Okay,
the Jazz have said very publicly multiple times on multiple occasions that they are going to be focusing on a youth movement and trying to figure out what we have in some of these young players. The fact is that equals losses.
Gotcha.
That's why you're not excited, Darren. The fact is we've got Keontae George, Taylor Hendricks, Bryce Sensabaugh. They've all got a year of NBA experience at this point. And none of them are fantastic basketball players. They are all very talented basketball players, but have they proven they can do anything in the NBA? And the answer is absolutely no.
Okay.
And then you've got 3 even newer rookies in Cody Williams, Isaiah Collier, Kyle Filipowski, who've played in all of, after today, 1 actual NBA basketball game. And you're not planning on winning many games this year. Matter of fact, you're not planning on watching even great basketball this year. You're planning on watching guys try to grow, try to get this team mesh, get a little bit of momentum, and hopefully watch Laurie make some threes.
That's right. Just alone in the corner with nobody guarding him.
That's a mistake.
That was a mistake there on the defensive end for sure for Memphis. But no, I have to agree with you there, man. I mean, I think, and it's really funny is they're going to say that that's the talking line for this season, but we know how it all went. But towards the beginning of the trade deadline before free agency opened up. We heard the lines, from Danny Ainge. We're not going to have 6 rookies on this team. We're going to be making some moves. We're going big game hunting. And basically what we've seen is that this team has fallen short on every trade option, every free agent they wanted to get over the last year. And they have no other choice but to say, yeah, we're going to see what we got with the youth. I don't want to give this front office a pass on that. This front office and this ownership group said that they were going to make some serious trades. They're going after some serious talent, and you don't get the excuse of, oh, we couldn't make it happen, and then just get to spin the narrative to what you want it to be, which is, oh, we're going to see what we have with these young players, when you've said nothing but the opposite for the last 6 months.
Yeah. The fact is like you said, you just can't give them a pass on this, right? They totally turned this team and this fan base into a direction where like, this is where we're going. And then when it didn't work out, they're like, just kidding, steer it on back. Nope.
Right.
Nope. We're actually going to go youth movement. We're going to just build this team from the draft. It's like, I got the oddest feeling that wasn't your original intention.
No, but at least I have to say, just like we talked about before, when it comes to the University of Utah, we don't have to listen to the Cam will he, won't he stuff anymore.
Yeah. We
at least understand what the team's direction is going to be going forward.
And the fact is if they would have started, if we would have ended last season and they said that right out the gate, every single Jazz fan would have been all in. Okay, you got it. We're in for Cooper. Capture the flag. Let's do this. Let's give these players an opportunity to keep growing, keep getting better. Look, I mean, the fact is we've got a great young head coach. We've got some really talented young players on this team. No one's going to be mad at you if you tell them, we need to see what we have in some of these players. We think they're really talented. Some of them are going to have to go. Some of them are going to have to stay. And this is what we're doing. But you're Danny Ainge, and you just steered us off the damn tracks. You said, oh no, we're going to rebuild. This team's going to be better than they were last year.
Yeah.
Urge, pump the brakes. Just kidding. No, that's not the route we're going to go anymore.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. And we've said our piece on this. We've gone out several times on this team and said these things about this. And I just think we want to kind of come out here and air it one more time and basically just kind of air our side on that when it comes to the front office and when it comes to the ownership group of this team, and let them know how we feel and how honestly, this is not year 1 of a rebuild. This is year 3.
Correct.
It's been 3 seasons since we got rid of the big 2 there. We trade away the rest of the team. We are not on year 1. This is year 3. So if you're expecting this fan base to be around for another 2 years of rebuild, boy, you got another thing coming, man. This team is not ready for a prolonged 5+ year rebuild. We're not the Detroit Pistons.
And especially because this is a winning franchise, right? We're only 2 to 3 years removed from being the best team in the NBA in the regular season. And I get it. It doesn't translate to the playoffs, however you want to spin it. The fact is it's not long ago that watching Jazz basketball was a thing of beauty. It was a ton of offense. They were a fantastic defensive team. And every time you turn on Jazz basketball, there was a good chance they were winning.
Oh, for sure.
That is not the case anymore.
Yeah.
We're currently in this game down 7 points in the third, and
just giving up lobs.
Not a great play, but it's just a much different team to watch, right? There's going to be a lot of mistakes. I'm a Jazz fan through and through. I think Coach Hardy has this team headed in the right direction. He's been great, and he's really excelled at building relationships with these players. That's exactly what we need, because we do need them to feel comfortable with each other, give them a chance to prove what they can be. Not everybody is going to be that guy. And we have a season that we're accepting we can burn this season and find out what we have. Give us a chance to get some more talent in here. I think Cody Williams is going to be really special. I think he's going to find ways to contribute, keep himself on the floor. He's got a great ability to shoot the ball, spread the floor, and make other players a lot better because of those abilities. And I don't know, man. I think this could be a great season.
I think so too.
For what it is, at least.
Exactly. For what it is, I think it's important that we need now pivot into the positive, like you just said. There's lots of reasons to be optimistic with this team, and we still want to support these players and this team specifically when it comes to that. Coach Hardy is going to be doing a great job with these players. And
it's the end of an era.
It's not going to, definitely. Yeah, this is definitely the end of the era. This is Utah Jazz basketball is never going to be the same after this season for reasons we've we talked about before. Links to those videos will be in the comments in the description below, so be sure to check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm optimistic about this team. I'm optimistic about its future. I just hope to see competitive games where they're in every game. They don't have to necessarily be in every game, but I need them to feel like they're in every game. I think that's the important thing. Question for you.
Yeah.
Actually, I have two.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the first one here. ESPN has the Jazz total wins at 27.5. Are you taking the over or under on that one?
I'm going to take the under.
I'm hoping for the under on that one myself.
I think it's the under. This team's not going to surprise anybody.
No.
We know exactly what we have. And it's not a great basketball team, but they're like this game that's on. Obviously, I don't know how it ends yet, but where we're at is in a situation where they're playing a competitive basketball game and we don't need them to win.
Right.
I'm okay if they win through 3 quarters and give it up in the 4th every single game.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'd like a few wins, but yeah.
I'd also love a number 1 draft pick.
Like 5 or 10 wins. We only get a 13% chance of the number 1 draft pick if you're the
That's
worst.
fine. I'll take all 13.
The first and the 5th worst team all have equal odds to get
the same
chance.
chance. Right.
So I'm just like, win a couple games. Just saying. Just win a few. Whatever game I'm at, just win that one. I'm okay.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. My second question on that one is let's play a little yes or no, shall we?
Okay.
I'm going to list off a few players' names, and you're going to tell me whether or not those players are on this team at the trade deadline.
Okay.
Yes or no. This is something they did on the radio earlier a couple days ago, and I thought it'd be fun for us to do here. Let's start with John Collins.
No.
Really? You think the Jazz are going to be able to trade John Collins this year?
I think they'll just ditch his Collins. I think they'll just ditch him.
Okay, you just think they're just going to eat his contract?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they'll eat it. I don't think they want him on the roster.
Okay.
I mean, there's a reason he's not starting. He's playing minimal minutes. You don't want to give up his minutes that are going to affect any player's development. I think the Jazz are paying him regardless, and they would rather give those minutes to a player that they think they have a future with than John Collins.
I like it. Okay, so you're expecting more of like a buyout type scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would take. I think anybody can take him.
Right.
If anybody's like, yeah, we'll take John Collins, they're like, yeah, we'll pay him the rest of the year. You just get him out of here.
I like it. All right. So JC.
Yes.
Yes, he's still on the roster?
I think he's still on the roster.
I agree, man. He's been trade bait like every single offseason and every single trade deadline. Everybody's talking about him moving. I honestly think he likes it here. I honestly think that's why he keeps signing extensions. Jazz are going to pay him more money than anybody else team is willing to offer him, and he likes it here. So
I think he likes it here, and JC doesn't make this team that much better.
No,
he's a fantastic contributing piece. He's not a needle mover that's going to turn you into a perennial playoff team or anything. He likes it here. He has a great veteran presence. I think JC stays with him.
All right, Bryce Sensabaugh.
Yes.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I think that one's going to kind of see, right? I think if Bryce has a breakout first half of the season.
Oh, yeah, then they'll trade him for sure.
I could see them moving Bryce Sensabaugh because you are getting very heavy in that guard spot. And I don't know if they're going to have enough minutes to keep him on the floor that much. I love his game. I think he's a great shooter. I think he's shown a lot on the defensive side of the ball the last few games that he's been on the floor for him. If he swings up, expect the Jazz to move him.
Okay, gotcha. What about the guy just had a great rebound and a great defensive play there? Let's talk Walker Kessler. Yes or no?
I'm going to say not on the team. I think they'll trade him for draft pick somewhere.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. See, I thought that on the first part of the season, but on the last end of the preseason, I'm kind of seeing a switch in him. I think he's kind of accepting his role here. I don't think, like you mentioned, he's going to impact winning enough to where the Jazz are going to say, okay, we're going to see what we have for Filipowski and, kind of go from there.
Yeah.
But
I think there's enough. I think he adds enough team to another value. I think he adds enough value to another team that he's worth it to move, knowing you don't know what your team's going to be yet.
That's a fair point.
You know what I mean? You don't know what your future roster makeup is going to even look like. You got Kyle Filipowski, who's close to 7 foot tall, that shoots the 3-ball.
Limited defensively,
but you're going to have other players step up defensively either way. I mean, even with Walker on the floor last year, we were still the worst defensive team in the NBA.
True.
So
very, very true. Patty Mills.
Yeah, he'll be on the team.
Yeah.
It just doesn't affect anything. He
I
signed
love
here to
him.
be here. I think he's Coach Will Hardy's buddy. He's on the roster to make everybody happy and put a veteran presence out there. There's no reason the Jazz move him.
No, I agree with you there. I think there's more likely to move JC than they do Patty Mills.
Yeah.
At the trade deadline, I think JC has more value, but I do see some people arguing the point that he will, some will need a veteran point guard off the bench. Patty Mills, if for a contender, he may fill that role, but
he's not worth whatever you can get back for him. No one's going. I mean, cash considerations. The Jazz have already paid him.
True.
You know what I mean? I don't. Patty Mills will be on the team the whole year, I think, in my opinion.
All right, my last name here, and this is actually going to be directly to your point there about playing themselves off the team. Last name, Colin Sexton.
I think he will be on the team at the end of the year. I think the Jazz see Colin as a player of the future, even with some of the young guard talent. Colin is not that old. He's only 25.
No, he plays right into the heart of the.
He plays hard. He's exactly what Coach Hardy wants in a point guard that comes out, leaves everything out there while he's out there. He does play. He's not a great defensive player, but he plays with a ton of effort. He's a really good scorer. He's getting better at shooting the 3-ball. I think he is a core piece to this team, and I could see him being on the Jazz all the way through.
I agree. His age is perfect fits with the timeline.
He's the same age as Laurie. Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to be right in the heart of his prime when they want to compete, which is in 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
And yeah, I think the only reason why they potentially move him is he may be good enough to screw up their losing. So they might want to move him at the deadline.
I don't think if you, depending on who you play around him, I don't think he affects winning that much.
Okay. See, I think he does.
I think so.
I think he's going to have to do some Phantom IL stints, if you know what I'm saying.
Those are coming. Those are coming regardless, though, Darren.
Yeah.
If these guys even wake up in the morning and like have a half of a muscle sore, they're like, you're out for 4 games.
Yeah.
The fact is the goal is to not lose any of these players to injury. They want everyone to stay healthy. And, obviously the goal is to get this team rolling and in a rhythm as soon as possible. And if that takes till next season, I think they're good with that, as long as they don't lose anybody to a long-term injury.
Yeah, I just thought it would be fun, a little exercise to kind of go up through names and a few names and see which ones we think are
How did I do
with the team.
I
think
my first time.
You're pretty.
Never talked Jazz basketball before.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Thanks.
For somebody who's never talked about the team, that's great.
Excellent.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I just think those names were interesting. Those are ones I want to throw out to see what you think about whether or not they're with the team or not. Early in the season, I kind of agree with you on a few of them. I kind of see a few. I'd see Walker Kessler sticking around. The Jazz may get an offer from an LA team that needs him, which is where I'm kind of going with that, by the way, from an LA team that needs him to be a contender, because they basically have no bigs.
Yeah.
No traditional bigs down there, either the Clippers or the Lakers. So I could see them making an offer to him and draft and packaging these picks. So that's a possibility there for sure. But once again, folks, in case you didn't know yet, the Utah Jazz, we have a channel for your Utah Jazz called Utah Jazz DNA. This is a channel where all your Utah Jazz content will be posted first. So if you have not yet, please check out that channel. A link to that channel will be in the description below. If you are watching that on this channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, because we're going to be giving away one of those sweet new Utah Jazz Road Black Mountain jerseys. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that giveaway for sure. Once again, folks, this channel did make 1,000 subscribers on this channel, so we deeply appreciate that. Thank you all very much. We're going to be giving the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. So if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. The first 5 subscribers, first $500 that we earn are going back to 5 subscribers, each earning $100 each. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available, the whole episode in its entirety, wherever you get your podcasts.
With all that said, my name is Darren, that is AJ, and this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.